Hi guys and welcome to our channel. So it's blustery, it's raining, it's horrible, but I'm still going to record the video for you guys, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really beautiful halloumi burger. Now this, whether you're a meat eater or a vegetarian, you will love it. The flavours that you get from this halloumi and everything that we're going to put in there is incredible. So stay with me in this video and I'll take you through it step by step. So I regularly get vegetarians come over for barbecues, and to be honest I always try and cater and try and make sure they have just as good a time as anyone else. Just because they don't eat meat doesn't mean they don't enjoy barbecue and the whole eating outdoors experience. Everything will be in the description down below, so don't worry, all the measurements and everything like that, it's all there for you to look at later. But basically what we're going to do, we're going to take our halloumi and we're going to marinate this. So you need to do this at least 15 minutes before you actually cook them off. I'm cooking them on the griddle today, but you can do them in the frying pan. There's nothing to stop you doing that at all. But basically, you just want to marinate them 15 minutes before to give that marinade time to penetrate the actual halloumi, impart a bit of flavour. So the first step is to make the marinade. So two things really. Get yourself a little pot, a little dish, so you can actually put the ingredient together to actually make a marinade. And then get yourself a little Tupperware pot, a little plastic one, and this is where we're going to put the halloumi and all the ingredients together. So this is where it's going to marinate in. So just make sure you've got those two things to hand. Right, so first thing to say is your lemon. So when you get your lemon, just give it a quick roll on the table first, and that just helps to break up all the fibres in the lemon and you get a lot more juice out of it that way. So first thing I'm going to do is take all this zest off the outside. So this is kind of like a little microplaner, this. I'll leave a link in the description down below. This is a little microplaner, and you see me using quite a lot of this in my recipes. It's really handy. And all we're going to do is take off that zest, because there's actually a lot of flavour in the zest. So if you get one of these, you can actually impart a lot more flavour in your food. So tap all that in there with a knife. I'm going to cut that in half. Then just holding, I've got gloves on, split them already, but I've got gloves on to pick out those seeds. So I'm going to squeeze that over the hand, and that will keep all the seeds out. Now with like anything, it's always easier when you're cooking to add. You've got juice of half a lemon in there, but if I need to add more later on, then it's easier to do that. But if you add it all in now and it's too much lemon in there, then you can't take it back out. So just take the little step of adding as you go rather than dumping everything in there. Next, so I've got dried basil today. I forgot to get fresh basil, but if you can get fresh basil, use it. And then here I'm going to use like a tablespoon of dried basil, but if you have got fresh basil, then basically I'd say like a cup, like a good bunch, finely chopped up, and then utilise that. Next I've got this. So this is called Ras El Hanout, and this is basically like a Middle Eastern like herby mix. If you can't get this, you can just use chili flakes, a little bit of cumin, but if you can get this, it just adds a really nice warmth to it. It's got beautiful flavours as well. So again, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that in. Now I'm only doing 2 burgers today, but if you're doing more, then also you can increase the volume of ingredients. And then here I'm just going to use 1 squidge of garlic, so basically 2 garlic cloves. And you're going to get some olive oil. So you need about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It's about that much. And then our last ingredient is paprika. Now if you can, get smoked paprika, it's just got a beautiful depth flavour in it. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of paprika to that. Yeah, brush again and just give that a really good mix around. Now because this is a marinade rather than a sauce, you're not really looking for a runniness, you're just looking to be able to coat the cheese. And also we're going to use this on an onion and actually on the ciabatta itself, so to get as much flavour in this burger as possible. Okay, so I need some more lemon juice in that. Okay. And again, just mix that around and then incorporate all those beautiful ingredients together, and it smells amazing. The fragrance that are coming off this is so nice. Okay, I'm just going to put that to one side for a minute. So when it comes to the halloumi itself, just try and get some authentic Greek halloumi. Comes in a block like this. The way you want to cut the halloumi is quite important, because also we're trying to do a burger substitute here. So don't cut it that way. You want to cut it the length of it, because you kind of almost want to make like halloumi steaks out of it. So we're just going to cut this down and be gentle, because they do have a habit of, because of the way they're manufactured, they will split if you're not careful. I'm just cutting this down into steaks. That's a good one. Each steak's going to be about that thick, so what's that, a couple of centimetres thick. What you're then going to do is bring your mix back, and basically what we're going to do, we're going to paint this marinade on top. And this is another reason why I'm wearing gloves, because it actually, if you're not careful, you get absolutely everywhere, and it will stain because it got the paprika in it. So that's all we're going to do to each of these steak, and just give that a bit of a paint, and that's going to impart so much flavour. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all 5 of those nicely coated, but you want to make sure you've got a decent amount of the mix left, because we're going to coat both the ciabatta and the onion on this. So I'm going to set these aside for 15 minutes, and while that marinates, I'm going to get the grill on and get that up to temperature. Okay, so while we're waiting for that griddle to heat up, it's just a couple other things you want to do. So this is quite a nice little trick. So we're going to do some nice thick red onion steaks in these as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them probably about that sort of thickness, but you're noticing I'm not taking the skin off. And that one as well. Like that. Now the nice little trick is that once you've taken them off, you see there the skin just peels off really nicely. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to take our ciabattas. So as a little trick, don't cut them this way, so down. If you slice them along like this, you keep that cut a lot more even. So you keep that slice a lot more even, and as you'll see in a minute, when we toast these off, they toast nice and evenly. Okay, so with our ciabattas, basically what we want to do is just get some of that marinade and just brush it all over that ciabatta roll. We're going to do both sides of this, both the top and the bottom. And we're going to do exactly the same on our onion as well, but on this one I'm going to put the onion down first, give it a bit of a paint, so you can see that's the sort of colour, a little bit of char on it, and just a little bit of colour. That is perfect. So you see I'm actually waiting to do the halloumi. Halloumi itself doesn't take very long at all. In fact, the whole cooking of this whole burger doesn't take long. So the reason that I've done the coated side down the bottom first is because I want to get most of the cooking of the onion done this way, and then when I flip it over, it's just going to be a case of just getting a little bit of colour on that marinade. Try to keep them together if you possibly can too, just because it looks a little bit nicer, but it's not the end of the world. If they come apart, they come apart. Don't worry about it. Just flip those over. Get a little bit of our marinade on that. We'll flip it back over again. Just really about getting as much flavour on there as we can. So now it's time to put our halloumi steaks on. These do not take very long, and they will char up really quickly, so just keep an eye on these. You can't leave these alone at all, so as soon as you put them on there, just keep an eye, flip them again, just keep an eye on them. We want a little bit of char, but we don't want them burnt, sort of thing. See what I mean? It does not take long at all for them to get a little bit of colour, and that's kind of what you want to look for. That's just a bit of char, just a bit of flavour, but not burnt. So let's take this off now, and it's time to build our burger. Now half an avocado should do 2 burgers, and what we're going to do is just thinly slice this like this, and this adds a real beautiful creamy texture, and also the actual flavour of avocado is superb. So just going to spread that out a little bit, get our salt and pepper on that. Beautiful. And then we build. So we've got our base, beautiful colour on that. We're going to put just a little bit of lettuce on here, a bit of crunch and a bit more texture to the actual burger, because everything else that we're going to put on there is going to be quite soft. So nice bit of texture, crunch. Then on top we're going to spread out our avocado. We're going to have our gorgeous marinated halloumi. So I'll cut this up so it fits really perfectly. Look at that, that looks good. But before I go any further, I'm just going to add a really nice drizzle of honey, just to give that a little bit of sweetness. Then on top goes our onion. That looks beautiful. And then the last step is some sriracha mayonnaise. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then we put it on our top, and that is it. That is done. So last thing for me to do is cut it in half and give it a try. Now look at that. Look at all those different layers. You've got all that flavour, that marinade, all those herbs, that paprika, that lemon juice, a couple of that honey, and that beautiful char that we put on this. This is going to be amazing. So you've got that beautiful onion, you've got the halloumi, you've got all those herbs and spices that we put in that marinade. Then when we've got that char, and you've also got that beautiful honey which just counterbalances, so you've got a really flavoursome sandwich here. Now I've given it to lots of my friends who are vegetarian, and they've all absolutely loved it, so please give it a go. Well, thanks for watching guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give it the old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out massively, so I really do appreciate it. Please go and check out this video where I show you 8 pro tips about how to get the perfect beef short ribs, and these turn out amazing, so it's definitely worth a watch. Don't forget, any thoughts, any comments, please leave those down below. But until the next video, I'll see you then. Take care. Cheers.